passion analytics.
So when it comes to this question, unless you're among the lucky few, most of us have experienced some kind of stress and angst trying to figure this out. Now, what do we do when we are uncertain about our career path long term, right? The most common thing is this. I'll think about it after the finals are over, or after I turn in that Q3 report, right? Right now is not a good time. Or we turn to our friends who are equally clueless as we are. The third thing people tend to do is they try to find the older and wiser person in their life, ask for their advice, but then one of them will say, go back, get your MBA, and the other person will say, that's a waste of money and time. Maybe I shouldn't be saying that here, right? And then you're back to square one. You're like, well, who do I trust? So imagine instead you have someone to talk to whenever you have a career question, and she's available to talk 24/7, and she's got the wisdom of 1,000 lives compiled all into her brain. And she can also recommend personalized careers to you. For example, if you like playing video games, perhaps thinking about esports coaching, where you can help others level up their game and make money at the same time. Right? So at Passion Analytics, our goal is to make high quality career coaching accessible to everyone. And the way we're doing it, in a nutshell, is through this 3-layer architecture. And the base layer is an automated diagnostic tree that is compiled knowledge base by expert career coaches. And then on top of that, we have a natural language processing layer. It's a user interface front end where it's a chatbot that you can talk to it. And then finally, when the chatbot is tapped out and reaches limits of what AI can do, we can then bring in human coaches. So right now, I'm the only human coach sitting behind there, typing and chatting with people. If you ever go on the system, you get me in the back end there, the only trained human coach. But imagine you have an army of coaches. Some of them could be psychologists. If you get diagnosed with, well, actually you have imposter syndrome. You are a very highly qualified individual, but you just don't think you are, right? So someone that's more trained in psychology will be best able to help you, versus I'm transitioning from marketing to academic research, and I want to be able to rebrand myself, where someone with more of a marketing communication background will be able to help you there. And furthermore, thinking about all the untapped, say, stay-at-home parent that can take an hour or two a day to help someone, right? So they can be trained to be, say, accountability partner to help cheer you on during that tough job search process. So you could have a combination of psychologists, trained coaches, or a trained layperson to help you. Think about it more of an Uber for coaching. So from here, I will need a volunteer to go through the process of getting coached. So if anyone have career question, they'd like to see what this is about, you can volunteer and we will take you through this. Oh,
We'll throw in a freebie.
I guess I'll continue as Chris. All right, we'll continue as Chris.
Oh, great.
All right, so I was going to skip this earlier parts. Let's go. All right, so here's the first question. Do we have a volunteer?
Yeah.
Can coach? All right. So what's your name?
Antonio.
Antonio. So I really want to help you with your career, but first, what do you think of the popular advice, pursue your passion? Totally agree. I'm skeptical. I'm not sure.
Agree.
Agree? All right. So totally agree. Do you know what you're passionate about?
Yes.
All right. Let's see what it says. All right, way to go. What is it?
Well, food and beverage. Hospitality industry.
Bev. All right, we'll just say food and bev. Are you pursuing your passion right now, currently?
Yeah.
Yes. All right, you're giving it a different path than I imagined. Okay, so that's awesome. How's it going so far?
Not really good.
All right, so pretty rocky, pretty rocky. Demoralized, all right. So, okay, so does a little part of you wonder whether it's worth it? Do you sometimes think about quitting to do something else?
Yeah, I'm thinking this option to quitting something else.
Yeah, okay. All right, so the quit or stick question is one of those big, hairy questions. Don't you just wish someone could tell you what to do, if that's possible, right? But I can ask questions and present some scenario to you to give you some clarity.
Yeah, let's try it.
We'll try it? All right, well, you're an easy customer. Okay, so first deal with feelings about competence. Imagine you are temporarily kidnapped by aliens and they tweak something in your brain and suddenly you came back and you're totally awesome at food and beverages. Would you still wonder about quitting?
Not sure.
Not sure. Okay, so that's something. So don't panic just because you're not sure. We can clarify your feelings some more. So is your question about when to quit rather than if to quit, right? So do you already know you need to quit, but it's just a matter of timing? Or no?
Oh, time.
So, okay, so then if it's a matter of timing, then they pop you to a little analysis, you can read about it, etc. So now you can get a sense of how this goes, right? It goes through some questions, and then at the end, there might be some videos, an article, or a person, right? Maybe initially you go through this and read about it. You're like, okay, that doesn't quite answer all of my questions. Maybe let me talk to a life coach. But at this point, though, we already seen some of your questions, and maybe we've already taken down a little bit about your profile, and we can then hand this dashboard over to a career coach, right? So maybe you've already taken a career quiz. We may know something about your personality and your goals. So think about this as a dashboard that someone can come in and then take a really quick look and say, oh, this is how I can help you, right? Okay. So that's all for now. Thank you. Question?
Finding out stuff like the corporation as like a benefit for employees, or?
I think universities. So we're right now just testing process that's just straight to consumers. But I think universities, and also on the corporate end, it will be a little different. It will be more employee coaching. How do you deal with a tough manager, right? There will be more coaching topics that are very much corporate related after the initial transition. Some of them may not appreciate me advising, you know what, you need to get out of the workplace, right? It's a toxic environment, so we still have to think about that, how to deal with it. Yes?
So what's your target customer look like? If you had to kind of, is it the student? Is it the person trying to leave their job? Like, are you focusing on a niche?
So I think currently, I would say it's 18 to 25-year-olds. People are currently in school, or they're new grads. I think there's a high percentage of new grads that are underemployed, right? They have a job, but they're wondering, you know, I was trained as a communication major, but now I'm, you know, at Starbucks, right? So how do I think about my long-term career and make things practical? Yeah, as a career changer myself, I went from AI research to career coaching, and now back to kind of integrating these two together. I think one of the reasons I built this is, as a career coach, a lot of people I start working with, when they need career help, they're at their stage in their life, they're at least able to afford it. When they're a new student that just graduated, or when they just got laid off, right? So that's what prompted me to create this automated version that more people can benefit from and they can scale. Yes?
Is it purely a deterministic tree right now, and then the idea to kind of like use that data to feed your reinforcement model later on?
Yes, so right now it's purely deterministic, although at some point, you know, it uses some sentiment analysis around like how do you like your job, and then it directs you. You can type in some answer, and depends on whether that's a positive response or a negative response, right? It kind of branch out. But currently the tree is pretty deterministic, And I think that some of the next step is to build in more material to make this engaging enough so that we can collect data, right? That's always the problem with doing analysis. If you don't have enough data, you can't analyze much. Yep.
I see there's a courses tab up there. Is that what you're talking about in building up material, or what's included in the courses?
Yeah, so courses, right now there are 2 courses. One is finding your passion, and the other one's how do I make my overall job situation better, right? So these are courses that you can take. Some of the material are not yet in this chat, like little chunks yet. So it's, and also I think it's better to have a community when you're learning something new, right? You have accountability, you have a teacher to take you through this. And I think the idea is to shrink those courses down. Right now it's like a 4-session course. Later on we can package them into smaller and smaller chunks and deliver them in like a micro course fashion, right? There might be one that just, how do you rebrand yourself from this to this career? Now go, like take this 20-minute course and you're done, right? And then you can sort of dice this up over time according to who you are and what your needs are. But right now it's a lot more monolithic, right? The courses are kind of big.
Thank you.